22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
And are not afraid to say it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is BlackWestchester.com presents the People Before Politics radio show every Sunday night, 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. Real talk for the community since 2014. Yes, today is Super Bowl Sunday for all of y'all that are into the football and the Super Bowl, but the show must go on. This is the first week of Black History. And I do want to just say, for all of y'all, Black History is celebrated every day from January 1st to December 31st, not just the shortest month of the year, but since that is what they put on the calendar for the celebrate, we're gearing our shows towards celebrating Black History Month. So a couple of things happened this week. So shout out to new Mount Vernon Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. She had her inaugural ball. And an after party last night, the inaugural ball at the VIP club was packed, wall to wall. Driving down Davenport, there was just cars behind cars, just trying to get into the point that people were parking off to the side and just walking up because the line was so long to drive up. So shout out to her. And I did stop by the after party that she had at the Radisson Hotel. Go to congratulate her, show my face a little bit while I was working on the paper, took a little break. So shout out to her. Couple of stories we did this week. The Westchester County Democratic Convention was this week, and the incumbent county district attorney Scarpino won narrowly, very narrowly. Mimi Rocha almost beat him for the Democratic nomination. She is definitely is going to make a race of it. This is not one of those foregone conclusions that he's just going to ease on down the road to another term. Mimi Rocha is giving him fits. You saw her a week or two ago here, an exclusive interview where we scooped everybody her first interview, other than on MSNBC Morning Joe, locally, talking about her her running for the election. And we're going to have her back on. We've invited Scarpino on. We're waiting to see if he accepts one of 3 dates we offered him in the month of March. We'll see, and if so, let you know. And Mimi Rocha, when was on this air, she said just before the primary, if he does show up, she will challenge him to a live debate here on the People Before Politics radio show. And I just want to say once again, the district attorney race is one of the most important races that you can vote for. If you're black or brown, it dictates your criminal justice, what cases will be prosecuted, how cases will be prosecuted. We complain about the justice system. This is an election. We should all step up and vote. And don't vote because everybody else, this guy is the incumbent, or he got row A, or whatever it is that you just because your friend vote. Find out about the candidates. Like I said, we had Mimi on. I don't know if there's going to be any other candidates. If so, we will get them on as well. Couple of other big stories this week. Jeff Redd, the legendary R&B singer, accused the Mount Vernon Police Department of racially profiling him and harassment. The Mount Vernon Police Department rolled up on the Grammy, American Music, Soul Train, and Billboard Award winner in his car across the street from his house. So he was sitting in the house. He had posted this on Facebook, and then I talked to him, and he gave us an exclusive interview. He was sitting in front of his house in his car, smoking a cigar, talking to his fiancée when the Mount Vernon Police Department rolled up. He saw them in his rear view, and they walked up, tapped on his window, and asked him for his ID. He said, "What do I need to show you my ID for?" He said, "Because he said, I'm not doing that. I'm just sitting in front of my house. I'm smoking a cigar. I'm talking to my fiancée." They was like, "Well, the house you're sitting in front of has called a complaint that someone is like tugging at their windows and their doors, or trying to get in or whatever." So he said, "Now that it's an investigation, we need to see your ID." So that was a white officer, and he names that officer in the story. Then there was a black officer, last name Hilton, like the hotel, who threatened to drag Jeff Redd out of the window if he did not comply and hand over his ID. Words went back and forth. Then the officers eventually left. They got in their car and drove off. And as we've mentioned in our story, if there was a complaint at this house, why didn't the officers go knock on that door, go check with those residents, make sure that they were okay, walk around the perimeter, make sure nobody's hiding in the bushes or anything? It just appears that they just rolled up, saw a black man in a nice car at night, and then harassed him. That is what Jeff Redd is. The Mount Vernon Police Department saying they followed all procedures, and that is not how it happened. And we will stay on top of this story. But shortly after we did the story, someone else hit us. Well, several people hit Black Westchester and said, "Yo, that happened to me. That happened to me too." But one particular person who right now we're going to let him be nameless right now, he said, "Yo, that's the same cop that harassed me like a week ago. And I got a video." And he posted the video, and it shows the guy not only threatening him to drag him out of the car, but attempting to pull him out of his car and yelling, "Oh, when this is over, you're going to be out of your car. Trust me." And berating him. And he's like, "Yo, what are you doing?" And so anyway, this officer, we're going to stay on top of that on Black Westchester. We reached out to Councilwoman Delia Farquharson, who is the chair over public safety. She called, Jeff Redd, 11 o'clock that morning, did file a police report and a complaint and handed to Commissioner Glenn Scott. Delia Farquharson then Councilwoman Farquharson, called Commissioner Scott, who acknowledged he received the complaint. It is under investigation, and Councilwoman Farquharson said that she wants to be kept apprised of the investigation. And I also ran into Councilwoman Janice Duarte, who vice chairs over public safety, and she says she also witnessed another incident where a car was parked on a Sunday where the buses pull up, and I guess the guy was out of his car, and it was the same thing, a white cop and a black cop on the passenger side. The guy came out, "Oh, I'll move my car," and the black cop persisted to berate the driver, and as she drove up and identified herself, they basically left, and she gave her information to the driver and suggested that he make a police report. Now, we don't know if this one is with the same cop or not, but this cop, Hilton, there have been several complaints about him to the point that when I was telling certain police officers before I could say their name, they was like, who, Hilton? Like, so, I mean, they even know who. He must have a reputation in this. So we're going to stay on top of that story. And we got the exclusive tomorrow on the Black Westchester Power Hour on WVOX at 11 a.m. to 12 noon. Jeff Red will be our guest, and he will be talking about the situation. So you don't just have to read about it. You can hear him talk about it tomorrow live on WVOX on the Black Westchester Power Hour. Also, the other big story this week was the firing of Mount Vernon Deputy Clerk Lauren Carter. So the city clerk and the deputy clerk serve at the pleasure of the city council. So we got a complaint actually from Councilwoman Farquharson, who told us that Councilman Marcus Griffin handed Lauren Carter, the deputy clerk, a letter basically telling her it's her last day, and that was it. When Councilwoman Farquharson and you can see her letter, her official letter right here, she states in her letter, I was informed about this afternoon about that Deputy City Clerk Lauren Carter was dismissed by the City Council member Marcus Griffin. I was not aware, and I disagree with this decision. I subsequently conferred with 2 other City Council members who told me that they too were ignorant of the decision and they did not agree with the decision at that time. Now, the reason this is a story is because what I'm told, if my information is right, while they do serve as the pleasure of the City Council, they have to have a majority. There's a 5-member City Council. That would mean 3 or maybe 4 would have to vote. And so, according to Councilwoman Delia Farquharson, she didn't know about it. Councilwoman Janice Duarte gave us a quote saying, any actions regarding changes in personnel and appointment under the purview of the City Council should not be taken without the body convening, discussing, and agreeing. And she said when actions are taken without convening the City Council, the integrity of the City Council as an institution and as a branch of government is compromised. That is a direct quote from her. According to Councilwoman Farquharson, also Councilman Derek Thompson, the new City Councilman, also did not know about it and was against it. Council President Lisa Copeland put a Facebook post out saying basically that they had they had 4 members vote on it and they had the majority, but Delia Farquharson, Janice Duarte, who I then talked to separately Friday, they all said that they were not aware of such a vote. So Black Westchester did their due diligence. Dr. Bob and myself went up to Mount Vernon City Hall and we foiled the record of that vote and the recording, because all city council meetings are recorded. It does not exist. The city clerk is the record keeper of all things in the city council. There is no record of that vote or a meeting taking place in the vote. There is no recording. It does not exist. So we will be following up on that. LoHud, John Bandler did a follow-up story, and then News 12 then interviewed Miss Carter afterwards. So basically those are some of the stories that were this week in Black Westchester. Unfortunately, most of them were Mount Vernon. People say I'm only dealing with Mount Vernon, but Mount Vernon just dominates the news a lot of times. So that's what it is. So that is my roundup. Also, the February 15th issue of Black Westchester is coming out the 14th. I think Friday is the 14th. So that means you have all this week to advertise in the paper. There are plenty of spots left if you would like to advertise in Black Westchester. We got business cards ads for $75 a month. We got quarter page ads for $250. Full page ads for $650. Whatever you want. If you do multiple months together, we'll give you a 10% discount. So this is the last week to advertise. If you would like to advertise in the February issue of Black Westchester, which helps us keep the paper, allow us to give the paper free to the people. So we don't have to charge the people. The people can continue to get the paper free. Advertising pays for it. So this is the last week to advertise. Couple of quick shout outs. Everybody on the check-in. Chris Breezy on the check-in. Mike Holtz on the check-in. Uncle Frank Trulio Jr. is on the check-in. DJ Nestor Acosta of Virginia is on the check-in. Stephanie Jacovino from Yonkers. Dominique Hernandez. Guy Harris. David Moffitt, my cousin in Marietta, Georgia, is on the check-in. Johnny Bauer, Carol Washington from Long Island is on the check-in. Harvey Kent said touch on the Jeff Red story. We did a little bit in the beginning, and again, we will have Jeff Red, an exclusive with Jeff Red tomorrow on the Black Westchester Power Hour on WVOX